Hello everyone, and welcome back to Doing It Live with Doomlink. We are here in The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. 3D version. Feels very strange, doesn't feel completely comfortable, but as I was mentioning at the end of the previous part, the dungeons are basically the same, so at the very least, I know precisely what I'm doing as I go through them. What doesn't feel comfortable as I'm playing right now is the fact that moving up with my aim requires analog stick up. Normally it's inverted. Anyway. I'm sure I'll get used to that relatively quickly. ZR and ZL I try to keep away from, AJ, because I think I remember in the Monster Hunter games, or at least in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, if I do bind ZL and ZR to anything, it breaks the fucking game, so I'm sure that probably wouldn't happen in this case, but I try to keep well away from ZL and ZR. So, oh, I did miss you. Up we go. Oh my god. One thing I can tell you is that the original version of this game, the Nintendo 64 version, I suppose we could say, the only thing that causes me not to say Nintendo 64 is because it's released on several systems. But originally, yes, it was on the N64. But the original version of the game was a lot more forgiving with the slingshot, I have to say. I suppose we could say the hitbox of the Deku seeds was wider. But again, you've probably got better aiming capability here in this version, so it's not something I should take issue with. Oh. I'm used to the target being a toggle as well. That could be something that you can change in the settings in the original version. Is there anything that I'm doing up here other than breaking the floor? I think so. Let's fully explore this area, shall we? Oh my god, I got too close. If I start from this position, that should be fine. Yeah, very good. Okay. Reporting that I am at full health, because again, you guys can't see my health, which is annoying, as I've explained. So, there are two types of Skulltula, weirdly enough. You've got the big ones that sort of dangle down, and then you've got slightly smaller ones that look the same otherwise, that crawl around. Now, the ones that crawl can be shot by a slingshot, but the ones that fall down like that cannot be shot, and I suppose I may as well demonstrate that. As you can see, I suspect it's because they're larger. A larger and more mature version of the Skulltula. Now, I'm not sure if rolling and jumping gives you a longer jump, but it sort of feels that way, so I'm going to do that. I bet it's not necessary. And there's the compass. Looks really big. I think I'm used to the controls now. More or less. Alright, let's head back. You can see that I'm very much employing the strategy of, if I attack first, I don't have to worry about getting hit. In other words, I am approaching it from a very aggressive angle. I believe this is an optional chest. Quick. No, alright. If we don't do this quickly, this is... Oh, I see. We are able to do this with the sword. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, so with the aiming, if you're playing on the 3DS version, you are able to use the gyro controls. And that's about as accurate as using a mouse, as AJ describes it. So... yeah, sadly, not using any gyro, so I will have to use my analog stick. Okay, we got our first gold Skulltula thing. What do you call it? Token, that's the word. And we shall pull out a Deku stick, light this torch, and that'll get us out of this room. So, I believe I'm correct in saying that this entire room was optional. If you decide that A, you don't want a compass, and B, you don't want all of the gold Skulltula tokens, you can just bypass this room completely. I was a little bit worried that I had gotten too close once again. Alright, let's fall down. You do need to use your sword, and unfortunately, my positioning was far from perfect, so let's try that again. It's a little bit annoying, but alright. What happened there was I was just a little bit too far to one side, so my sword ended up hitting the edge rather than the web itself, and that really is what you're meant to be doing. You're supposed to be hitting the web with your sword. Fairly satisfying to use the slingshot in this version, I can't deny that. What the compass does is it gives you a more accurate display of where you are on the map. Let me just... I think that when I'm on the wall it doesn't tell me precisely where I am, but once I get down here... Oh no. It seems that the function of the compass has changed in this version of the game. It seems that what the compass is doing this time is telling me what's on my map, rather than exactly where I am. Unless... No, in the original version it's probably like that as well, you know. Depending on the version of the game that you're playing. If you're playing a sort of older Zelda game, let me rephrase that. Depending on the age of the game within the series that you're playing, the compass will have two functions. If it's a bit older, it'll just tell you what's on the map. If you're playing... Oh no, it also does... Excuse me, I'm so confused. I'm in the way, so you weren't able to see me moving around here, and in the case of why I couldn't see myself moving around there, I was looking at the map on the bottom screen, and wondering why I couldn't see myself moving around, for goodness sake. So yes, it does have that function, and actually I wasn't really in the way after all. Alright. As an explanation, I would give that about a 0 out of 10, but in case you weren't already completely confused, the compass is helpful in various ways. Have I just done that again? For goodness sake. This is something I didn't struggle with at all in the original version of the game, but at the moment I can barely string an explanation together, and I also can't fall down and break this spiderweb. But we'll keep trying. I'm sure we will succeed one day. Up we go. Get frickin' motion sickness doing this. I say that in jest, but my god, that side-to-side wobbling is not pleasant. Do a spin attack this time. I was hoping that would kill him in one go. Alright, one more time. There we go. I don't know if you mean the 3D effect or if you mean the way the game looks generally, but there shouldn't actually be a 3D effect currently affecting the way the game looks. 3D effect in 3DS emulation is where you've got that really gross fuzzy look. I'm hoping that that's not present in any way. It should be gone. I actually don't like how suddenly the game freezes when you press a button like that. Notice how that was not how it worked in the original version of the game. That was a good thing, because when the entire game freezes, it actually takes you out of it. It's immersion breaking. At least it is for me. Alright. Get a recovery heart. We will need this flame, just not right now. We'll need it a little later. I see another gold sculpture. I actually don't remember this one from the original game. I really don't think he's in the original game. I feel like if there are sculptures that I'm going to remember and ones that I'm going to forget, surely the ones that I would remember are the ones at the very beginning of the game. I think that's a new one. But no, I've used... No, I think I must be misremembering, because one thing I do recall is that the locations are the same between the two versions of the game. So I must just be forgetting that one, which is a bit sad. Anyway. It seems that we do actually need this flame right now. I was wrong. Got a little platform to run on here. I almost overshot that. Now, of course, the thing with Deku Sticks is that if you put them away quickly enough, before they have a chance to burn out, you've basically got a fully functional Deku Stick remaining when you pull it out again, which is a nice little feature. to catch this guy again. If he gets back into his flower, it's all on again. Well, let's just keep trying. There is no other recourse except to continue trying. Or give up completely. I'll stand by his flower. Okay, 231. 231. They wrote it out as 231, which I guess is another way of memorizing it. 231, that's easy to remember. If you want to write it down, you can. But ideally, you should be able to remember 3 digits. 231. Yes, all right. Navi is teaching us how to dive in-game. It'll be interesting to see how this looks. Yeah, Link still swims very awkwardly, I can see. There we go, and now this is going to be on a timer. At least I think so. What am I doing? For goodness sake, quickly. Go around and onto the platform. The function of this should be quite clear. This is so that Link does not get spiked. Very awfully. I'm doing it again. Stop spinning. Do you think it was meant for him to spin for that long? I don't think so somehow. But maybe it was. Shut up, Navi. Of course, she's helpful to people who've never played the game before, but once you've played the game before, she is an absolutely irritating presence. And I have to say that Navi... Look, I have little doubt that they will have addressed Navi's constant pestering, because that has been a complaint for as long as the game has existed. But I have to comment on the fact that when Navi has something to say, it seems that in this version of the game, her fucking name appears on the screen on the bottom in an even more conspicuous manner than how it was in the original game, where she was just this little circle that would appear above your item selection that would be flashing. Or blinking, I suppose is the better word. But, oh my god. Very annoying. Very annoying. We'll see how it is. We'll see how they navigate that. Get it? Navigate, Navi. That is why she's called Navi, to be clear. We'll see how they navigate it. Whether it will be just as annoying as the original version, or if it'll be a little more tolerable. And put the stick away. No, you don't. Goodbye. Just making sure that I'm definitely still recording the top screen and only the top screen. Aha, we've got these... I actually can't remember what they're called. Gomegs? Gohma egg? I don't know if it's Gohma egg or Gomeg. Anyway. Whatever these little things are called. Maybe once they hatch, they're no longer called eggs. Which would be entirely congruent with regular use of the English language. Oh, we don't really... We access this later for a gold sculpture, once we have bombs, but we do not have bombs at the moment. So if this confuses anyone playing the game for the first time, fear not, you're not meant to do anything with it now. That is for another time. If you are minded to backtrack, just for a gold sculpture. We're almost at the end. Probably got another 2 rooms to go, something like that. There's no dungeon key for this dungeon. In fact, I seem to remember that the first dungeon key that you get in the game is for the Forest Temple. Before that, there is no dungeon key. In other words, when you're in the past, you have no need for them. Oh, I ended up walking into the Deku Barber there, so took a little bit of damage. You probably noticed that, because Link stuck his big head right into the big head of the Deku Barber. Apparently you've got a maximum number of 10 Deku sticks here in this version of the game. That doesn't sound completely correct. Or at the very least, it doesn't sound like how it was originally, but maybe it was. Maybe it was 10. I'm going to try and not second guess myself too much. I'm not going to agonize over it. It was 2, 3, 1, was it not? Hopefully it was. If it wasn't, this will be quite embarrassing. 2, 3, 1. And then, once we get the order correct, we then have to chase this guy. It's a very strange secret, you have to admit. Queenie. Still going with that translation. Oh, I'm really enjoying the spinning on the spot implementation for Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. I have to say, my experience will never be the same again in the original version, given that I won't be able to spin on the spot like an absolute buffoon. Alright. So we will have to actually use the view button. The view button. Here we go. View button. You look almost exactly the same as the original version. This is very strange. It's a good thing. It's an entirely good thing. Gohma looks unchanged. Alright, fine. I guess I have to use my... Aha. It's just when I saw the red eyeball, I thought, I can slash at that now. Which is not true, incidentally. The red eyeball means that you can shoot it. An important distinction. Well, I've seen spinning on the spot in the original, AJ, but not this frequently. I really have not... I did not see it that frequently. Maybe I'm just getting bad luck. Sword out, jumping. What is that? Oh yeah, I guess that's her egg sac. Or whatever you would call that. However she delivers the eggs. Egg tube, I suppose we could affectionately refer to it as. Egg tube. Just lay your eggs and then come back down. I really don't need to mess about with your eggs for too long. Oh, yeah, alright. I probably didn't need 3 rounds, did I? I would have been able to do it the second time she came down, it's just I was fiddling with my controls ridiculously. Alright. Yeah, from what I can tell, AJ, this is a very faithful remake. Whether or not I will play it more than once, I can't really say. I mean, recording this as I am now serves a purpose. This is my first time playing the 3D version of this game, like the 3DS version. I'm not going to call it the 3D version because that's absurd. The game has already been... sorry, the game has always been in 3D. But... yeah, after this, I mean, this is certainly not going to replace the experience that I have with the original. The original is what it is. It's irreplaceable in a few ways, so... yeah. Especially given that they put this remake on a system that is so... almost instantly outdated, like the 3DS. I don't really see a reason to treat this as the modern replacement of Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I did hear actually, you're right. I do remember hearing that the 3DS version of Majora's Mask was nowhere near as faithful to the original. They changed the way the bosses worked, as I recall. And yeah, I do have memories of criticisms at the time for that game. And it could actually be the case that because of the criticisms I heard leveled at Majora's Mask 3D, that caused me to therefore not even bother with Ocarina of Time 3D. I doubt that influenced the design of the Giganox host scene, but I guess it's possible. Anything's possible. A thing that lays eggs. I don't know. Yes, I will listen to what you have to say, Deku Tree. Get it out of the way, because this is the last thing that you have to say in your life. Your final words. Man with big nose and ears that stick out almost perfectly horizontally. Sorry, for those of you who are very immersed in the story, I will not be reading all of the text. I was wondering if they would give the goddesses a more well-defined appearance. Seems that is not the case. Put your 3D glasses on now. Yeah. I can't believe that gimmick ever took off. I mean, when the 3DS came out, I thought it was pretty cool for about half a minute. Or at least when it was announced. I think I had someone in high school who had a 3DS the year it came out. And I was able to play it through him. And weirdly, when I looked at it visually, I thought it looked... Maybe it was because of the glossy surface of the 3DS. I didn't like it compared to the DSi. It didn't feel like on a visual level to be an improvement. But of course it had the 3D functionality, and then you turn it on and it's just awful. Honestly, I'm not surprised that it's ill-advised for pregnant women to use it. Quite frankly, I've never been a pregnant woman, and I never will be a pregnant woman, but I don't want to use it. I feel like it'll do damage to me. It was just awful. I could feel myself going cross-eyed, and it was blurry, and that was really the main issue. It was the fact that it was blurry. Yes, wow, it's actually coming off the screen. It's three-dimensional, but it's blurry as fuck, and it looks bad. It was the gimmick of all gimmicks. It was the king of gimmicks, and that really was Nintendo's thing. What was the next way we're going to influence the manner in which people play video games? Well, doing it in 3D, really. I mean, at what cost? The cost, indeed, was the game actually looking good. Which, if you think about it, is very, very counterintuitive and counterproductive. The medallion looks awful. I don't know if that's a fair assessment. Do you guys agree? Does that medallion look awful to you? Maybe it looks just fine and I'm being ridiculous. You got the Kokiri's Emerald. This is the spirit... Sorry, the medallion is for the things we get later in the game. You've got the Kokiri Emerald, the Goron Ruby, and the Zora Sapphire. Ah, but you didn't call her Navi the Fairy. You didn't use her full title. Well, the Triforce is... It is what it is. It's not going to look that brilliant. Well, as I said, my Kokiri sword looks like a pool toy. So, you know, the graphics and the effects... they're not exactly replacing the effects of 1998. Not in my opinion. Oh, go away. I think it's time you went to the bathroom, my friend. You do have a water source right there, so if it's urination that you require. Look at that. As I say, I think Mido in the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time might be the most over-animated video game character ever conceived of. What on earth is this? Sheikah Stone. It was mentioned by the Deku Tree. This is the Sheikah Stone the great Deku Tree mentioned, Link. If you're ever unsure of what to do, it might not be a bad idea to ask the stone for help. Yes, I suppose by 2011 people didn't buy magazines to figure these things out, did they? They went on the internet, which is even more accessible! Anyway, I'll shut up. So, what are we going to do? I'll probably finish this part of doing a live with Doomlink. I think we are probably at that point where it's appropriate to do so. Just based on the fact that we've finished the Deku Tree, we don't really have much more to do in the Kokiru Forest, I don't think. Even if I were being completionist about it, which I'm certainly not. Well, I guess we could go to the Lost Woods before we leave. There are probably things we can do there. I haven't been given the Fairy Ocarina yet, though, so I think that will limit the usefulness of going to the Lost Woods right now. So how about we get the Fairy Ocarina and then immediately come back? That tends to be what I do. So it's just really funny because you get this epic, well, maybe not epic, but at the very least momentous exiting of the forest as Link goes off into Hyrule on his adventure. And then you just come straight back. This is also one of the strangest scenes, which I've always commented on whenever I've recorded this game. For the Doomlink channel, I've only ever recorded this game twice, because I've never been hugely enamored with Ocarina of Time as a Zelda game. I've always had other games that I preferred in the series, but Ocarina of Time is fine, I guess. In 2015 I did a Let's Play, and in 2019 I did a live Let's Play on camera. And on both occasions, I made mention of this fact, but the way this scene ends just doesn't make sense to me. Because what Link does is he slowly backs away and then runs off, and I just don't really understand why they felt the need to do that. They could have just had him turn on the spot slowly and run, which would have been perfectly acceptable. See this? I don't really understand that. I've never understood that. I'm not sure how many other people mention it, but to me it's bizarre. Hyrule Field looks great. Okay, Pora, go away. I will speak to you later. I guess it's inconceivable that you're playing this game for the first time and then you're like, no, I'm actually going to go back to the forest. Once you've been introduced to Hyrule Field, because it's an adventuresome sort of game. You want to go and see the next location, but I'm being a little bit more completionist. Only a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to get all of the Skulltulas. I guess I could get all of the Skulltulas of the past that I have access to before going to the future, so that I'm able to get the giant wallet, the one that holds 500 rupees. You first get one that holds 200, and then you get one that holds 500. Not in that exact sequence, you get other things in between, like the Shard of Agony, which I think was changed to something else in this game, Stone of Agony or something. But yeah, the giant wallet is probably something that I will want, but as far as getting all 100 gold Skulltula tokens, hell no. There's a reason why. It's because unless you've actually memorized where they all are, you find yourself just looking at a guide to find them the whole game. And it's not fun. Not in my opinion. All Magic Beans playthrough. Okay, where the hell am I going? I'll go left first. So I think this guy is an easy heart piece. Oh yeah, I need to go and equip the Ocarina. It's been auto-equipped actually, so... Whoops. Oh, I've got another thing that I have to equip this to. Alright, put away. Hold on. So I have to go back into my controls. I probably should have ended this part a moment ago. In fact, I'll do that now. I'll see you guys in part 3 of doing a live with Doomlink. For those watching live, I will still be live, fear not. I won't be going anywhere. But for those of you watching on YouTube, I will see you in part 3, where we go and get a heart piece, I suppose. I'll see you then.